The ABC has obtained internal police emails that outline strategies to increase pressure on motorcycle gangs and warn officers to toe the line or reconsider their future with the Queensland Police Service. The state's police union is now questioning whether the measures are legal. In Brisbane, Stephanie Smale reports.
Some Queensland police are worried the campaign against outlaw motorcycle clubs has already gone too far. That's according to the president of the Queensland Police Union, Ian Levers.
On some occasions, police were told to go and get some search warrants and go and search all the residents that we know that are owned by bikies. And when the question was asked, what are the grounds, they said, just do your job if you want to have a job. Look, this is completely unacceptable. We need to act within the law.
Internal police emails obtained by the ABC describe the situation as a crisis. The emails sent to rank-and-file members says the mission is clear to rid Queensland of criminal motorcycle gangs. It continues, if this is not personally acceptable to you, consider your future with the Queensland Police Service. Ian Levers argues officers have every right to question whether parts of the anti-bikie campaign are lawful.
So you've got to have grounds and you've got to have evidence to be able to take out a search warrant. And whether it be a bikie or any other person, we have to follow due process. And if we don't, we lose confidence of the public. And that's where we've got to be very careful. But we have the Commissioner say, just go and do this. We have a senior police officer, which has been all endorsed by the Commissioner. If you don't do this, you're going to be sacked.
The internal police email states officers must act lawfully at all times. Queensland's Police Commissioner Ian Stewart says officers who are concerned about breaking the law should ask a superior, but he's repeated calls for police who question the anti-bikie campaign to quit.
At times there will always be different perspectives about how effective we are and what leadership we're showing. Our job is to continue to grow the confidence that both the government and the community can have in the senior leadership of the organisation. If people aren't prepared to do that, to step up when the going gets tough, then they really do need to consider another career or another line of employment.
Ian Levers says rank-and-file officers are also scared for their safety.
Bikies now have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose. They could spend the rest of their life in prison. That puts police in a very vulnerable position because the bikies will fight to do whatever they can to get out or get away.
Ian Stewart disagrees.
These people have been around for a long time and we've been arresting them for a long time. Our people just don't arrest motorcycle gang members, they arrest other criminals in society. This is something that police officers live with their whole career. Our job is to make sure that any officer who has a credible threat made against them, they report that and we will deal with it in a variety of ways.
The tough regime netted its first arrests last week. 2 men in Cairns have been taken into custody for being in a criminal organisation and in their clubhouse, which is now a prescribed criminal location. If they're convicted, they'll be heading to the tough new bikies-only prison north of Brisbane and dressed in pink. The Queensland Premier, Campbell Newman.
Yes, they will be wearing pink overalls, and the reason is this, that these are individuals who are bullies. They're bullies and they like to wear scary-looking gear, leather jackets. They have the tattoos, they have their colours, and we know that telling them to wear pink is going to be embarrassing for them. Make no apologies for that. Thugs and bullies need to be brought into line. They need to be clearly shown that their ways have to change.
Mr Newman has acknowledged threats have been made to members of the state government since the campaign started, but he says the tough measures will continue until criminal motorcycle clubs are shut down and their members are in prison.
Stephanie Smale reporting. To WA now, the West Australian government has ordered an investigation into claims that prisoners cut a significant hole in the fence of a medium security jail in...
Fuck that. Right. So, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? Would you like me to get you something you can eat? Yes, okay. Hello? Come on. What are you doing? Come on. That's a girl. Dear oh dear oh dear. Did you think the Queensland Police were coming for you, eh? Did you think that? Isn't it terrible? Eh? Isn't it terrible? So, Campbell Newman has said that the motorcyclists are thugs and bullies. That's why he's going to put them in jail for 25 years, regardless of what their crime is, just for going into the clubhouse, because the clubhouse that they own, they built, is now a proscribed premises, and they are now considered criminals just for going there. 25 years in jail. And he calls them bullies. And he says that any police who have a problem with conducting searches based on warrants with no probable cause, they should consider getting out of the police force, because sometimes you just have to be a bully to be a pig. A pink pig in a blue suit in the land of Queens. I suppose that might have something to do with why Campbell Newman, the human hemorrhoid, wants his prisoners to wear pink. Bright, pretty pink for Campbell Newman, the human hemorrhoid. Yeah, and even the police union reckons it's all gone too far. And as he says, if you're facing 25 years in jail for going into your own clubhouse, then is there any reason to not rack up some sort of a charge sheet that you might be proud of when you're going in there? Like, instead of getting a 25-year sentence for crossing the footpath, they might want to get a 25-year sentence for seeing how many pink pigs in blue suits they can grievously upset. See, even the kangaroo doesn't like, the swat wallaby doesn't like talking about stuff like that. Hey, even thinking about violence is upsetting to a vegetarian. But yeah, some of the cops are having second thoughts because they're fearful, and some of the cops are having second thoughts because they have ethics. And the Queensland Premier and Police Commissioner and chain of command is only interested in employing obedient thugs who have no regard for the law or the Constitution or democracy. They want Nazis. And as one of my subscribers in the United Kingdom, Robert Hartlepool, or Hartleypool, how you going, Robert? He explained to me, this is what happened in England in the miners' strike in 1984. Once upon a time, British police were poorly paid, but they were proud of being law-abiding and keeping the law, and the working classes and even the criminal classes had a respect for the police officers. They had a respect for the law courts because they knew that they would get a fair hearing. During the miners' strike, British Army was dressed up as police officers and sent in with the police officers with orders to beat up the miners and the strikers and the protesters. And as Robert explains it, his father was one of the police, and the honest police, the police who were not corrupt, they came back from that ashamed of what they had been asked to do. Like the cops who said, well, you know, you want me to swear out a warrant to search every bikie's house in the district. What's the cause for the warrant? Just go and do your job if you want a job. No probable cause on the warrant. The not corrupt officers, they resigned. They got out of the force, and that left only the corrupt officers, the ones who like beating up people for money. It left them in situ, and that's who trained the subsequent recruits, and that's when the British police service kind of went downhill, according to a solicitor in the UK who told me the story via YouTube. So yeah, it's very interesting that less than a week after my co-sub in England told me, oh well, this is what happened over here in the 80s, and what will probably happen in Queensland is all the honest cops won't want to stick around for it and they'll piss off. And only the ones who just want to be paid to beat anybody up, regardless of who the anybody is, they're the ones who are going to stay. So, welcome to life in the Fourth Reich. Queenslanders! You're going to have to start running around doing one-handed salutes and shouting victory hurrah soon, because that's what Zig Heil translates into. Queensland, totalitarian fascist state. A human hemorrhoid for a premier, and an inexperienced property conveyor as the Attorney General, because they didn't want to give the job to anybody who knew what they were doing. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao.